I am not one to react like that when it comes to people dying. I am a very sympathetic person, especially when I watch anime. I sympathize with a lot of characters. Okay? I do sympathize with a lot of characters. Go if you've seen Naruto, you know Danzo? I actually sympathize with Danzo for a little bit. During a certain scene, during a certain little scene. I'm not gonna spoil it. But when it comes to Tokiomi dying, it felt good. I feel like the genius of Fate Zero is conditioning the viewer to feel some sort of satisfaction from Tokiomi's death in order to give you the feeling of ecstasy that Kirei feels. It's supposed to get you into Kirei's head just as much as it's supposed to advance the plot and kill off the character. It is a brilliant way to do so. I can't think of many other series that condition you to want a character to suffer or die and then have it be done by somebody who embodies the whole thing of literally having no empathy and just reveling in murdering those who I don't know Kirei's entire ideology yet. There's some psychology to his psychoticness. Well, he's not psychotic, he's sociopathic. I believe that there's psychology to his sociopathy. He isn't Ryunosuke or Caster. He's not psychopathic, he's sociopathic. But there is, I feel like, some rules to his own tendencies. I believe that he also takes respite in murdering those who believe that they know Kirei but don't actually know him, as well as those who try to pity him or try to pretend that they're his friend or that they love him or that they tell him what he wants to hear. They try to give them their time. Kirei does not like that false narrative that they put forth towards him, and all along he's always wanted to destroy those people, to kill them, to erase them. And to be honest here, Kirei's arc has been fantastic. So my first inkling to Kirei's in psychotic, why do I keep saying psychotic, sociopathic tendencies was, one, he's very what's the word I'm looking for, methodical. He's serious. He never really shows many emotions. He's cold. He's calculating. Even when he stabs Irie, he does it out of his own pure benefit. He doesn't do it because, it's to win the Grail War, it's to win the game. He does it to purely test out a hypothesis, and he just leaves. And what I like about Kirei is that he slowly goes from a pet to Tokiomi to slowly not sharing every little detail with him. Because take for instance, if Kirei decided to tell Tokiomi that Irie is not Saber's master and that there's someone in the shadows that is actually her master, and that Irie is merely a homunculus. Well, I don't think Tokiomi would have met up, or well, he might have came up with the plan to have them meet up and commit a truce with each other, but I think it would have gone a lot differently because of the unknown factor of somebody playing from the shadows. I think Tokiomi is smarter than that to let that happen. That's just one way that Kirei decided to stay quiet, and I also believe that Gilgamesh takes notice of this. Gilgamesh, being the king of kings, if you will, being someone who's been here since basically the beginning of measurable history, he's watched humans for a very, very long time, to the point where not many of them are very interesting. Maybe some can provide a lick of entertainment, but it's not enough. There's no one that truly makes Gilgamesh tick, that makes him go, I like this person. They are so amusing. I believe them to be worthy, actually. I it isn't until he meets Kirei that he can finally see something. And it makes sense that his disdain for Tokiomi as well. Here, Gilgamesh has an interesting set of ideals for disliking. Damn it, there's this one quote, but I'm trying to remember. It's about dreamers and those who. Was that was that the quote? Damn it, I'll come back to that later. But anyway, Gilgamesh has finally found someone that he's taken a liking to. And honestly, the signs about Kirei were always there, and it makes me very happy that I was able to pick up on some of them and theorize. And that's why Fate Zero has some of the best dialogue and foreshadowing I've seen in a lot of anime. I don't have the line verbatim, but it is in episode 6 or 7, in which Gilgamesh and Kirei are talking, and they start talking about like pleasure and what it means to enjoy something. It's because Gilgamesh is egging Kirei on about the Grail, because I'm so sorry. I'm having a really nasty like brain uh cloud block or something. All I can say is that Carrot's I'm getting really tired of. I know these characters' names, but I want to call them other names because they sound similar. I mean, Kier and Kiri, like it's so similar. Kirei screwed up a lot during the discussion he had with Gilgamesh, and Gilgamesh was able to use these little bits of information to prod Kirei into driving himself into a corner, giving Gilgamesh prime opportunity to truly read Kirei's thought process. They start talking to each other about the pleasure, to which Kirei, for some odd reason, associates pleasure with sin, because Gilgamesh is talking about what pleases Kirei, and Kirei's like, well, I can't really be pleased by sinning now, can I? And this that's not verbatim, by the way. This little line is enough to spring Gilgamesh into the thought of, I don't quite understand your logic. How are pleasure and sin synonymous with each other? Because pleasure doesn't necessarily result from like evil. They can result from good deeds, like helping someone or blah 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 blah. Gilgamesh is like, what kind of philosophy calls pleasure itself a sin? And that was what clued me on Kirei as a character. That is such beautiful, beautiful line delivery and just subtlety there. I really, really love it. It's damn amazing. It's impressive. And every time that Kirei talks to Gilgamesh, Gilgamesh gets a little deeper inside of Kirei's head. Because the first mystery about Kirei is he keeps denying the fact that he wants the Grail, but he was chosen for it, so obviously he does have a desire. And Gilgamesh knows this, and he finds it interesting that Kirei is acts like he does. And it is just genuinely great. It's such a cool character dynamic between the two. It kind of like I know a lot of people will probably be like, hope that's stupid. I'm not comparing Kirei to Anakin Skywalker, but I will compare Gilgamesh to Palpatine, because they use the same tactics of delving into the mind and using situations to manipulate and to change people or reveal their true nature. It's really cool. It's really neat stuff. So I was in the process of rewatching episode 1 the other night, and it's really good timing because do you guys remember in episode 1 when Rin asks Kirei to promise to take care of Tokiomi and not let anything bad happen to him? What a great fucking foreshadow, guys. That's in episode 1! Like, oh my goodness! That is so amazing! Oh! And then the fact that Rin has to talk to Tokiomi in this episode, and Tokiomi practically wagers a death flag and is like, one day you're gonna have to run this household. I trust everything to you. Bye, Rin. Because at this point, Tokiomi put his 100% complete trust in Kirei to take care of Rin and help supervise the household if he ever dies. He's using this as a safe measure for just in case he doesn't win the Grail. He's confident that he will because, well, obviously, but it's interesting how much he believed in Kirei though. But it makes sense because Kirei never really gave reasons to doubt. Kirei never gave Tokiomi reasons to doubt him. I mean, yes, there's one near the end, which is where we learn a truth about Kirei, which is nice because it is a perfect parallel to Kiritsugu. It's such a good parallel. I love it. So, a long time ago, Kirei was an executor or an executor who would execute people of the Einsburn family, and that was kept a secret from everybody, even his father. Oh my god, the plot thickens, and what can I extrapolate from that? Well, that is Kirei's first taste of blood and of killing and analyzing and watching people. Doesn't it just go hand in hand with what he still desires deep down? Interesting people, those to watch, those who fight against all odds only to succumb to despair in the end, to taste the betrayal beneath their feet. Oh yeah, Kirei enjoys it a lot. And Kirei had been struggling between two sides of himself. The side of himself for the church and for his father that exemplifies the true meaning of a good person, and the person that he's always truly wanted to be. It's why it took a lot of prodding from Gilgamesh to crack into the true interior of Kirei, because he had put up this really well-made facade that had fooled everyone, his father and Tokiomi included, but not Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh has been around the block. He can read humans just as open as any book. And there were context clues for Kirei. This gives extra evidence for Kirei. Do you want to know why Kirei would know that, or have, we could already extrapolate that the reason Kirei had suspicions on Airi being a homunculus is because A, the Einsburns are known for homunculus, B, it's kind of odd for her to be like so close to Saber during battles when she's a mage. I mean, yeah, she can heal, but it doesn't make any sense. So that you would think that it would be a fake for the real master to be in the shadows. That was enough for me to believe Kirei would figure it out, but no. Kirei has experience with the Einsburn family by executing them. Why wouldn't he know to the extent of what the Einsburn family did, especially with Homunculus? And that's why he figured it out. That is excellent, excellent storytelling. Just now that you get this piece of information, you can completely retextualize previous events. That's what you call really fucking well written storytelling. Just good grief. It is amazing. I There is one thing that I do want to have a theory about. Now I could be pulling this out of my ass, but I don't know. Anything's possible. In the first episode of Fate Zero, it is stated that Kirei had recently lost his wife. That's tragic. Well, maybe for one party. I have a theory that Kirei might have killed his wife. You want to know why? Kirei doesn't like people who don't understand him, who pretend that they do, but don't truly respect him, don't truly know how he truly is, are foolish. There's a lot to go there. I'm mainly speaking in some basic words. I still have to learn more about Kirei before I can give a just assessment of what he doesn't like in people and what he deems enough for him to want to murder them. But it would make sense for Kirei to have murdered his wife before the Grail War started. It gives a good conflict for Kirei. He had just tasted another drink of wine, that pleasure, if you will. And now he's stricken between two worlds, the world of Tokiomi and the church, and the world of the Grail, coveting it for himself, doing everything on his own, and succumbing to his own desires and what he truly is as a person. He tries to put on this facade, and he does a damn good job, but it's always there. Even Kirei himself admits that he had thought about still going back to executing Ainsburns after everything was over, because he can't get enough. And that is really fascinating. So, Kirei is really well written. Gilgamesh is really well written. I just, goodness gracious. This is Kirei's line right here. I'm reading. I'm going back to the episode to when he stabs Tokiomi. That is one of the most satisfying scenes in Fate. You know, this is cathartic for me after the painfulness of last episode. Master, you're just like my father. You never understood me even until the very end. You never understood me even until the very end. Mm-hmm. I love the way that Kirei's voice actor just these lines just come to him. Such a boring ending. Look at how stupid his dying face looks. So the funniest thing is Gilgamesh didn't expect such progress for Kirei. Kirei has completely succumbed to what he likes. He is the Kirei of reveling in this. Kirei immediately, he did have a servant in spirit form in hand. I don't blame him for lowering his guard. And Gilgamesh is just like, so you've already learned to jest. And it's not like it's not like Kirei is just now learning to it. It's just that he's always known how to jest and find the dark, twisted ways to read situations and make fun of foolish people, just like Gilgamesh. That progress is worth praising. The smile on Kirei's face, like he's living it. He's relishing the situation. And earlier in the episode when oh my god, Gilgamesh deconstructs his mind by saying, because it's true, during the conversation with Tokiomi, Kirei never gave anything that made him sound like he was distraught or empathetic that his father died. Gilgamesh notices this and is like, you don't feel anything at all, do you? Or perhaps maybe you're sad that you weren't the one to have done it. And god, it's great. So, okay, I'm gonna go in this episode beat by beat now, from the beginning to the end. because I need to get to the other parts before before getting more into the rest of my talking points here. The episode starts with a cold open, Kirei discovering his own father's corpse. This was really well done because his facial expression is hard to read here. I actually thought that he did feel something for a second here, but no, it was just a simple like, oh, he's dead. It wasn't nothing like, damn it, he's dead. It was just, he's dead. Kirei is a foil to Kiritsugu in some of the best ways. It just fucking blows my mind how well they work off of each other and how well their conflict is going to develop into the later parts of this series. Because, oh my god, it's amazing. Tokiomi is, well, okay. Another good piece of evidence here for why Gilgamesh was able to guess that Kirei was thinking this way is, you want to know who's reacting to the death? Tokiomi. He's like, impossible! Why would they kill the priest? He's freaking out. He's like, he's twitching. We can't allow this. He actually looks like he's like, he's feeling it. We can't allow this. He's angry, genuinely angry. And Kirei is just there like, yeah, it's too bad. And you can see, I love the small little shot where they cut to him at the window, standing there with his douchey hair. I actually like his hair, but he kind of looks like a fucking douche with it down. And he's smiling, staring at Kirei, watching his every movement and analyzing him. It's amazing. It's so good. The next scene, Kirei begins to leave the manor, and Gilgamesh just poofs in the air. He could just teleport at will practically, and I love like when you could tell Gilgamesh is there, is you can see the little like light particles come in. Why didn't you tell Tokiomi? That's right, I forgot to mention Tokiomi. In order to make it okay, this goes to show you the ability that Tokiomi has to evade people, to what's the word I'm looking for, to elude them of his true personality, because he makes a lie here saying that man was like a father to me. That he's lying. That is his father. He's trying to cover his tracks as to why he's not freaking out so much about it, so that nobody else would figure him out. It's a smart play by Kirei, and that goes to show that even if he's conscious of it or not, he's always doing this sort of thing. And that's why his character is so great. I pity your father. He died believing his son to be a holy man. Gilgamesh, that's true. He put on such a facade towards others, no one could truly understand Kirei. Except for Gilgamesh. That's great. Died believing your own son was a holy man. And he's gonna... So does that mean he's gonna run the church? Like a corrupt church? It may seem to be in the path of righteousness and God, but behind the scenes it's run by Kotomine Kirei. It's great. No, might that have been his salvation? Does your father's death inspire no feeling within you? He was killed, you know. Shouldn't you at least look a little sad? And then Kirei finally opens up and admits, yes, it bothers me to no end. Does it really? Just, I love how the Gilgamesh's voice here is just like Tanoshika. Is it because you didn't get to kill him yourself? Kirei just looks at him like, because Kirei knows deep in his mind that, holy fuck, he knows. and Gilgamesh disappears at the prime opportunity to let that stick in his mind. That is great, great, great. Ah, it's so good. It's actually great. Oh, damn it. My stupid recording software. 1 second. Sorry. Okay. So, Irie is saved thanks to Saber being so close to her with the Avalon, and basically they get a letter from Tokiomi to form a alliance because Tokiomi believes that Rider and Berserker are the greatest threats. And this can be read in two ways. Either he deems Saber's team to be the weakest, or it can mean a lot of other things. Like, a lot of other inferences can be made. I'm trying to reread this dialogue so that I can better understand it. Irie acknowledges that it seems likely that they would be the team that would form an alliance. It just makes sense that this is the team that Tokiomi would try to put this play into effect here. It's a smart play, because the most likely party to agree to this would be Saber's team. Irie tells Saber to remember. Okay, this is great foreshadowing. Great foreshadowing. Irie tells Saber to remember Kiritsugu. I'm sorry, guys. To remember Kirei, because he's the man who is going to be the most challenging obstacle for Kiritsugu to overcome. Remember that name. And the reason that Irie is telling Saber this is because Irie knows that her time is limited. That she's going to be gone very, very soon. And that in itself is really sad. Even I actually agree with her. The one man who can defeat Kiritsugu and win is most likely Kirei. Yes, Iskandar is powerful, and as much as I'm rooting for Karia, unless he has a trick up his sleeve, it's really Kirei who's the dominating force here. I mean, by the end of this episode, he has the most powerful master on his side, and Gilgamesh would be willing to listen to Kirei, unlike Tokiomi. We have a scene with Rin, Tokiomi, and Rin's mother. This scene has a nice piano rendition of the main theme of Zero. I do enjoy. I like the break of dawn, like the lighting of or the evening is about to come. Sorry, I mixed up the two a lot. Not dawn and evening, but when it's the sunset and dawn being, you know what I mean. I mix up the two. I know what evening and I know the difference between evening and dawn, I promise. Rin being such an innocent child, so full of life and wonder, still free of exemplifying the horrors of what a magi is, this emotionless machine that uses others to their own merit. Rin's blush and her happiness to see Tokiomi is really, really sweet. It's just that childlike wonder. And it also hurts my heart, because Sakura could be there too. To be happy to be welcomed home by a father, instead of spending every single night in a room getting violated by the inside by fucking worms. And remember, that's still happening every day. It hasn't stopped. And that's what Kari is fighting for, and that's why I'm rooting for him the most. We have a scene where Rin's mom actually decides to be a nice parent for once, which I'm very surprised about. She actually smiles and acknowledges Rin, which actually makes me happy. I still don't think she's that great of a person, but that scene was nice. Rin begins talking to Tokiomi. She's so happy to see him. And actually, I believe by looking at Tokiomi's expression, he is happy to see Rin too. Even if what he's about to say is more so using her as the next in line for the Tosaka family, I do believe that there is some sense of love and care as a father there. Which only makes his death actually sad. It's very satisfying, and Zero has conditioned you to feel satisfied with his death. But when you think about it, Rin is gonna have to live the rest of her life without a father anymore. And her father's taken away by a man she never liked. A man that she asked to protect Tokiomi. It's really ironic, isn't it? That little head pat was really sweet. Tokiomi begins to rub her head. As you grow up, keep the association in your debt. This is the beginning of Tokiomi's death flag, as he believes his time is limited, with the Grail War coming to a sort of climax very soon. Beyond that, I'll leave the rest to your judgment. That's basically Tokiomi handing off the... What's the word I'm looking for? You know, when you have a new generation, you hand off the torch. There you go. He's passing the torch. You'll be fine on your own. That line, you'll be fine on your own. What that means, without me. Meaning, something might happen to me, or I might be gone for a long time. Either or, the Holy Grail will appear. It is the responsibility of the Tosaka family to obtain it. Above all, if you wish to be a mage, that is the path you must follow. This confirms the later fates. The Grail will appear again, as it has time and time before. And when it does appear, Rin will be an adult. And this instinctively gives her the drive to want to obtain it in later fates. Because I know Rin is in the later fates, obviously. I've seen her grown up form fucking thighs, am I right? So that is an interesting thing. We have basically confirmed the existence of a Grail War that's going to happen again in the future. A future fate with Rin embodying the Tosaka family line and striving for what her father asked of her. That's actually good character motivation, and I dig it. Rin, take this. He bestows her a book. I wonder if it's the same book that was shown in episode 10, you know, when Rin's learning about magic. Well, I'll be the little noise she makes. She's so excited. It's so cute. Well, I'll be going now. You know what to do from now on, right? That little smile. Hi. And even the mother is looking on, smiling, which is actually a nice change of pace. And who's watching from the car? Kirei. I love how the music stops. Just dead silence. And Kirei doesn't look his eyes always look very cold. But here, they have a new form of animosity, or you can interpret many feelings, but they're just like really, they're squinted. They're staring. They're calculating. They're thinking. He's finally realizing what it is that he wants. That's to deal the death to Tokiomi himself. I love how the music stops there. It's just a nice few second scene. Really well done. So we get the meeting between the two. And okay, I want to give a good I want to move on to a good talking point about Airi as a character. I have a friend who's a big Fate fan and a big Naruto fan. Let's just say he's a fucking great guy. He's probably my like the best friend I could ever ask for, and he has a really good anime taste. And whenever I have a question about Fate, he tells me, without spoiling, of course. He's not that kind of guy. So sometimes I'll ask of him questions like, I really like this character. What's the general consensus? And then he'll tell me. He's told me that there's a lot of people who don't like Irie because of a few reasons. One, she stands around too much and does nothing. I have a defense. She's a healer. She's supposed to watch, calculate, and decide an ample opportunity for her to heal. She's not supposed to directly be on the offensive all the time. Two, her dialogue is stilted and disjointed. That is incorrect. She's a homunculus who has just barely learned how to function as a human. She is very new to the world. It was her first time going to fucking what was it, Tokyo, like, and being outside and stuff. It is very well written to have her dialogue be the way that it is, and it's not stilted in the sense that it makes no sense. It's just, for example, Saber, a mythological spirit who was once a hero, fucking King Arthur, says, I can ride anything. I can drive even a plane. To which I would be like, a plane? You can fly a plane? People call that bad dialogue because it's the notion of bad dialogue being repeating the last thing that someone says. This happens a lot in anime, actually. So it is a fair critique when it's from a character who shouldn't be saying something like that. For her to say that, it is actually valid. What normal person wouldn't be surprised that fucking King Arthur could fly a plane? There weren't planes back then. And this is her first time being summoned in the modern day. So it's kind of fair to ask that question. And also, for the reasons that I mentioned before about her being a homunculus, blah, 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 blah. Defense 2. And number 3, she doesn't do enough. She's not strong enough. Nor does she seem smart or intelligent or that impactful to the plot. Well, some people dictate her to be a plot device, as much as the Grail is a plot device, but that's just untrue. Watch this scene, for example, where Irie takes the fucking charge. It's really well done. A nice talk is being there's a discussion between Tokiomi and Irie. Tokiomi's trying to convince Irie to form that alliance. Irie says, there's nothing to worry about. We control Saber, the strongest servant, which isn't true, but to her it's true. We don't need to wait for an opportune time to strike. It's fine. She's taking the lead here. She's answering all the questions and she's making really rational decisions. Good on her. She's doing a wonderful job. And for her to do this at her stage, at her maturity for a fucking homunculus, is really well done. We will simply keep winning each battle. Naruhodo. I see. In my opinion, it is unfortunate that the Matos erred in their strategy. They have impassed a draining servant upon a weak master, hastening his own destruction. He's talking about Karia here, but of course Tokiomi is very confident because he dealt with Karia already, but Karia is still alive. It's funny that Tokiomi dies believing that he finished Karia off. Oh, that's gotta hurt some pride even in death. To Tokiomi believes that Ryder is the most likely combatant to become victorious, and yeah, he's really fucking powerful. The Grail must not fall in outside hands, so two of us should be able to agree on that much. Irie is just very straightforward. Any alliance is out of the question. However, if you wish to discuss the order in which we deal with our enemies, we may be able to come to some agreement. Elaborate. We can settle things with the Tosaka camp after we defeat the other masters. Irie wants all the others to be dealt with before a final compromise is made. That's a proposal our side can agree to. So a temporary conditional ceasefire, I actually think that's a smart plan. A fair compromise. We have 2 conditions. First, you will share any information you have concerning Ryder and his master. Very well. And this is a fucking pro gamer move from Irie. Too bad things didn't go to plan. You will remove Kotomine Kirei from the Grail War. This is a safe bet, a safe measure, if you will, because he being the biggest threat, having him dealt with is the smartest play. And for Irie to just like with like the fucking big dick energy to just come in here and be like making the demands here. She's the one in charge in this situation. That's why Irie's great. That's why I love Irie. Hell yeah, Irie. Tokiomi is genuinely surprised at this fact that she would want that. Remove Kirei. I won't ask you to kill him. But unlike this, until this war is over, I insist that he leave Fugo. No, Japan entirely. I like how in this whole scene, Kirei is just thinking. No words, he's just thinking. Gilgamesh is just watching with a smirk on his face. Could you explain why you want that? And this is the twist. This is the twist! There is plenty of bad blood between the Ironsburn camp and the Executor. Oh my god, that's awesome. And Kirei opens his eyes like, so you know. It's such a great... so good! That is such an amazing twist that recontextualized Kirei's character. It's really good. Tokiomi actually questions Kirei like, wait, you did what? Fucking Saber's gifted with a motorcycle from Kiritsugu. It's awesome. I love this line. It's closer to a horse than a car. It's just a nice little bit of comedic relief. I enjoy that. Now we have context for the motorcycle scene in the opening to the opening song. That scene was great. Irie was the boss and the one in charge there, and we learned more about Kirei. Oh, so good. It's also smart because Irie was hoping to have Saber out of the picture to talk with Maya about a serious topic. And it's a nice attention to detail. As Saber leaves, the Avalon's power will no longer be in effect, so naturally she will be weaker. As she gets in the car, she falls over onto Maya and starts sweating. She's practically having a fever. And Irie is saying to not worry about her, just go ahead, just drive. Just... Tosaka will realize something is amiss. See, the plan there was to create doubt in Tokiomi's mind and kind of create a frenzy between Tokiomi and Kirei to help bide some time, and also show that that Kiritsugu, that Saber and them are a threat still in this game. So it was a very smart play by her. This is one of my favorite. Besides the final scenes in this episode, seriously, this episode has too many amazing moments to count, but this might be my favorite. If I don't count all the Kirei stuff, this might be my favorite scene. This isn't unexpected. Irie just looks so sick. Just seeing how lively she is, and then seeing her like this, it actually, like, it hits the Kokoro, man. This almost made me tear up too. I was really close. In fact, it's a miracle that I've been able to function as a human for this long. Because the only reason she's still here is because of the Avalon and Saber. Does Kiritsugu know about this? And she starts to speak from the heart here. Keep this from Saber. She has a crucial battle ahead of her. I don't want her to worry about me. But Maya-san, there's something I want you to know. Irie already knows that there's bad blood between Kiritsugu and Saber. Saber does not need to know about all the things surrounding her and Kiritsugu. That would only make the situation worse. And it makes sense that she wants to keep that away from her. But there's some more reasons too. I'm a homunculus created for the Grail War. You know that, right? And of course Maya does. She's a cohort to Kiritsugu, why wouldn't she? Old Act gave the vessel an instinct for self-preservation. Basically, think of it as an AI in a machine. This vessel acts as the dominating force for self-preservation, so that it would avoid all danger and safeguard the Grail to its completion. Her voice acting is really well done here. It has a sense of weakness and helplessness, but underlying all of that is hope itself and a wish. And it's really beautiful. He disguised the vessel under the veil of Irisveal. She's merely a vessel herself. She's instinctually driven to do something once her time runs out. She won't be the Irie we know anymore. She'll be something entirely different. That's what I am. And that means that I this is theory time. I have a feeling that eventually what this means is that what they set up from the first episode, Kiritsugu knows this. Eventually, she won't be Irie anymore. She'll default into her preservation for the Grail, the state that keeps it, and Kiritsugu will have to destroy her to kill her. That's what they meant at the first episode, isn't it? Damn. It's really fucking sad. So that means that Ilya is not gonna grow up with a mother anymore, and I doubt Kiritsugu will ever get to see her again. It's just a gut feeling. That's really sad. The light piano piece just comes in very softly. It's a very pretty song. Very soon, I will go back to being what I was, basically a machine. Next time, I won't even be able to talk to you like this. That's why Kiritsugu left Saber's Scabbard with me, the Avalon. Mm-hmm. So Irie makes something a point that she says something very interesting here. Because Maya asks her, "Why are you telling me all this?" We actually learn of Maya's full name here. Hisao, I believe, or something like that. You would never pity me. You'd acknowledge me. That is... Oh god, that's fucking sad. I'm trying to recontextualize this. She's saying this because she wants somebody to treat her like a person and not pity her for being a tool, for being something that will just end up back into the factory default settings, if you will. That's really sad. She doesn't want to be pitied. She wants to be seen as a person. Oh man, that's gonna make me cry. It's fucking sad, dude. When you actually break that line down, what I love about Fate is that you can actually go back and start reading some of the lines and start breaking them down. And they have such meaning. Like, when you actually think about, oh my god, that's fucking sad. Maya gives just that. I have always thought of you as a more distant figure. That's not true. Do you understand? Yes. And I think Maya is declaring something here. I believe Maya is setting up her own death flag by saying that she will protect Irie at all costs, even at the cost of her own life. And that's a promise. I will protect you to the very end. That's gonna come up later, isn't it? So, please die for Emiya Kiritsugu. I love how she begins to raise her head and just nods with a soft smile. That is fucking beautiful. Thank you. Because she got that acknowledgement from someone other than Kiritsugu to be treated as a person, you know? Rather than like a machine. Oh man. I'm sorry, guys. That's what I love about writing like this is you truly have to read between the lines and try to analyze it and think about it. And then it will really hit you. That's what I really like. That's what I really, really like. So we get the final scene, which takes the bulk of the rest of the episode, which is the confrontation between Tokiomi and Kirei. Tokiomi's like, bruh, I would have liked to have known what you had done with the Ainsburns, but it's whatever. We go back to a scene in that one room that Kirei and Gilgamesh always talk in. Kirei is looking at some pictures and trying to figure out just who Kiritsugu is. And we know that the people who interest Kirei the most are Kariya and Kiritsugu, which is why he spared Kariya's life, is to hopefully see some amusing entertainment later. Like, that's the explicit purpose for it. Maybe Kirei wants to kill Kariya later at an opportune time that will make the death taste sweeter, or something like that. Maybe even that. Gilgamesh, how slow could you possibly be, Kirei? The Grail beckons you still. And you yourself still long to fight. I love how these two speak to each other in indirect ways, but they know exactly what the fuck they're talking. Like, they know exactly what each other means. That's what I love about their dynamic. They speak in indirect statements, but they know what they're talking about. They can read each other. They understand each other. It's such a good little relationship. Fucking Gilgamesh and Kirei? Fuck yeah. For as long as I can remember, I've lived my life searching for just one thing. And we don't learn this yet, but Kirei states that he's getting closer to finding the answer. I love just the look at that Gilgamesh has, just the... like that. I spent all my life on it, time on it, endured much pain, but all of it has come to naught. And yet I feel that I am closer to the answer now than ever before. Good opportunity for his character development, that's for sure. Why do you still hesitate after all that self-examination? A wonderful question by Gilgamesh. I have a feeling that I will destroy myself when I've learned all the answers. I believe that Kirei is stating that learning the truth about himself might drive him mad. He won't be the same person anymore. He won't be sane even. It'll drive him completely insane. Or he could be saying a few other things that it will lead to his destruction. Him becoming the Kirei that he wants to be and that he desires will lead to his destruction someday. Interesting perspective, interesting foresight there. I wonder if that could become accurate. I wonder if that's foreshadowing the end of Zero, or maybe something even more. Because Kirei is a character I don't see dying. If he did die, it would be at the last episode. Like, seriously, this guy's too important. He receives a phone call. I see, thank you. And Gilgamesh just fucking teleports to him. Did you just learn of some exciting new information? Just... I've discovered the location of the Ainsburn hideout. Gilgamesh is just like... I love his laugh there. You're incredible, Kirei. You honestly amaze me. You're gonna continue this the whole time. Kirei does say, I did hesitate. I was prepared to stop. He's not saying he wanted to. He was prepared to stop. Good line there. But in the end, you're absolutely right, King of Heroes. As he starts to take off his sleeve, I know of no other remedy than to continue my inquiry and figure out what he truly wants. What is that? A gift from my father. The irony of him believing that his son was a holy man and bestowing upon him a gift so great that it could change the tide of the Grail War and the future itself. The irony befitting a fool who couldn't even understand their own son. Isn't it ironic? So fucking awesome. So using some like magic seal thingy, JN 290, whatever the fucking Gospel of John, something. I don't know how exactly it works. But he recites some Bible line thingy and gets the power that his father had, the overseer abilities of the Grail War. Gilgamesh continues to laugh. However, Kirei, a very serious problem remains. I love this because Gilgamesh is just at this point just having fun. He knows exactly what Kirei is thinking, but he's still going to present the question. Should you participate in the Grail War of your own will, Tosaka Tokiomi becomes your enemy. In other words, you're in the same room as an enemy servant with nothing to defend yourself with. Quite a dire situation you're in, aren't you? And Kirei just says, no. I've thought of a way to beg for my life. Oh, and we get another twist. I did not expect this. This is a big twist. And let me tell you the truth behind the Holy Grail War. This twist does make sense, though. What? The ritual here in Fuyuki is an attempt to open a passage to the root through the sacrifice of the souls of 7 heroic spirits. So the root is important. We remember that Tokiomi brought up the root in his fight with Karia earlier. The root is something. Don't know what. One can activate the Great Grail by killing all 7 servants. That means all of them have to die. Not one can live. Yes, all 7. Meaning the great aspect of last episode showing that command seals can in fact have a servant kill themselves. I applaud that writing there because it all comes together in this episode when you realize that the purpose is to kill all the other servants but keep one command seal yourself, or at least the overseer would have some. And then the final thing to do is to force your own servant to kill themselves. So we learn why the Grail War is not good for the servants. If anything, the servants are but slaves to the master. Quite fitting. The servants can't get what they want. They can't. They can't. And that's crazy to me. That means my girl Saber, that means that, like, freaking Lancer, if he was still alive, even Iskander, can't do anything, can't do jack shit. They can't do jack shit and nobody knew, except for the church. That's crazy. And Tokiomi, that's fucking nuts. That is a great twist. Gilgamesh just looks on like, that motherfucker. You understand? That's why my master tries so hard to avoid using his command seals. He needs them to force his own servant to commit suicide once all the battles have ended. Wow. That's why he was putting on such an act with Gilgamesh. So you're saying the loyalty Tokiomi has shown me was all a lie? And the enemy master is simply a mage to the core. That scares me because will Rin take on what her father embodies? The flawed image of a true mage? I hope not, but it's certainly plausible. Because the mages are fucked in their ideology too. He may worship a heroic spirit, but he harbors no illusions about his idols. I like the track that they're playing here. It just gives a mysterious vibe and like this just sense of realization. Tokiomi, you have finally proven your worth. This is the moment that Gilgamesh was waiting for. This was the moment he decides you are actually truly worthy. You no longer have just potential. You're worthy. At last, that bored little man will be able to entertain me. I love that. It's really good. What will you do now, King of Heroes? Ew. I love, like, you know what the weird thing about voice acting is? I can capture Kirei's voice somewhat when I voice act his lines in Japanese. But when I try to translate them into English, it's really difficult for me. Like, for example, if I were to say his name, it'd be like, Kotomine Kirei. Kotomine Kirei. But if I were to try to say, like, words like, my name is Kirei. How are you doing? Like, it doesn't sound the same. It's weird, isn't it? Omae wa Magushira. Like, it's so much easier to voice it in Japanese for some reason, to get the exact voice down. I think it's just how impressions work. Like, I wouldn't be able to impersonate like a Chinese Peter Griffin, for example. I'm only able to impersonate like the Peter Griffin that I know, because he speaks the language that I know, and I can impersonate that. You wouldn't even, but. Hey Lois, I just met Kotomina Kire. Yeah. I don't know about that, Gilgamesh. Slowly it may be, but Tokyomi still supplies me with mana. So they're talking about how like it's kind of like if we take him out, then Gilgamesh kind of has to go too. Abandoning my master would hinder my ability to remain materialized. Oh, that reminds me. There happens to be a master with I love this! Gilgamesh, you sly fuck. There happens to be a master with command spells, but no partner, searching for a servant unbound by contract. That's genius. You're right. So you now that you mention it, but is that man a worthy master in the eyes of the King of Heroes? I love it, the smirk that they both have on each other's faces when they're talking to each other. Gilgamesh, he will suffice. He's slightly flawed in that he's rather stiff, but he has a great potential for growth. He may prove to be a fine source of entertainment for me someday. Just that Kira is just... so good. Okay. Before we end this discussion, because I've talked about the death scene in the first part of this discussion, I do want to talk about something very interesting. Tokyo, like the whole thing about Fate is it's Shakespearean tragedy. The betrayal. Did I tell you about betrayal? Because there's a lot of betrayal. Betrayal happens every day. I mean, this show's about betrayal. If you couldn't tell. I mean, the Grail War symbolizes that itself, with the master having to betray the servant in the end in order to actually get the Grail, but whatever. So Tokyomi accepts Kirei, just like has like Kirei is amazing to Tokyomi's like, once this Grail War is over, I'd like you to help me train Rin as her senior apprentice. The irony of this scares me for the future of Fate, because I believe what they're doing is they're setting up that Kirei will not die, and that he'll be a driving force throughout the whole series, because that's what they're alluding to with this, I believe. Hear me out. It's a simple one, but this is a written will signed, a will of sorts. I thought it was wise to prepare for the worst. That's why he said those lines to Rin earlier. It leaves the Tosaka family headship to Rin and names you as her guardian until she comes of age, which I believe is like 18, or maybe when she becomes an actual mage. And Kira just says, leave it to me. This basically guarantees that Kirei is fine if Tokyomi dies, because he can easily cover up the murder. He's the one who did it. Nobody's around. Nobody would suspect him after all. He was the right-hand man of Tokyomi, loyal to the end, never showed any signs of resistance. It's smart. And the fact that this facade led to this, in his final moments, he gave all of this up to this man, that is insane. I will do all I can to look after your daughter. And then what gets to me, it's a line in the first episode about Rin asking Kirei to always be there for her father and protect him. That went well, didn't it? The foreshadowing in this show is insane. Thank you, Kirei. And genuinely, Tokyomi has a genuine smile on his face. He looks at Kirei like a genuine proud smile, a happy smile. Korewa? What is this? And Tokyomi even gives another gift to Kirei. And the irony is really sad. The irony, man. The irony. Okay, I'll be honest with you. As cathartic as this is, I do feel bad for Tokyomi. A little bit. It's an Azoth dagger. It symbolizes your mastery of the Tosaka family magics and marks the end of your apprenticeship. He's not no apprentice, he's a master now. You were far too kind to me. I cannot even. I cannot even. And then Tokyo. Then Kira just the fucking what a dick. And I say this in a loving way towards Kira. I cannot even begin to express my gratitude, my master. And Tokyomi is just smiling. It is me who must thank you, Kotomine Kire. He starts rubbing the blade as if he's already thinking of what he'll do with it. He turns it around and it shows the reflection shows the look in his eye. The murderous intent is already there. I love just subtle like animation like that. Look at the time. I'm sorry to have kept you. I love how Kira just goes whoop, and the music goes into this like suspenseful, mysterious, chilling air kind of music. I hope you will make it in time for your flight, because after all, Kira is going to have to leave Japan. Or so Tokyo thinks. The suspense here, as he's I knew this would happen. I had a feeling that this would happen. The smile, this smile, it is so fucking evil. It's just the most evil fucking grin I've seen. Just a, yeah. You need not worry, Wakashi. And stabbed in the back. Cliche as it may be, being stabbed in the back is perfect for this. The face that Tokyomi gives here is not only the pain that he's going through of being stabbed, it is just how much faith Tokyomi has in Kirei. He is so dumbstruck, so just he can't believe it. He literally can't fathom that this is happening right now. His face displays that perfectly. He can't comprehend it. He's just like, I trusted you. I never bought the ticket. Tokyomi had, that means this is premeditated. Him saying I never bought the ticket is a fucking sign of premeditation. I love the spinning camera framing there as it begins to get chaotic, as just the stab goes deeper, and finally Tokyomi falls, dead. The blood seeping. Master, you just like before. We get that line, and finally, Gilgamesh becomes the servant of Kotomine Kire, and Kire has finally opened himself up to what he truly desires and the person he's always been. Gilgamesh sees the most potential and is willing to let, like he said last episode, he is searching for someone to gift the Grail to, or at least let them take ownership of, not ownership, but to use it. And he's finally found the candidate for it. Kotomine Kire. Can I just get everybody watch and please clap with me, my mans. My mans, my girls, and whoever else is watching. This is actually my favorite episode of Fate Zero Season 2. It's a masterpiece. This episode is everything I wanted and more. It's every episode of Fate Zero has been a masterpiece. It just keeps getting better. 10 out of 10 already for me. I don't like to give 10 out of 10 so soon, but nah, Fate Zero is a 10 out of 10. It's happened. There's nothing I can say to deny what I feel and what I believe. The show is just an example of masterful writing. It's brilliant. And I wanted to tell everyone who's still watching, if you stay all the way to the end of this massive discussion, you have my applause. Seriously, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and it does help me out a lot. I thank you so much, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed. I try to give my all into these, and I try to articulate every possible thing that I can. I don't have time for as much as even I would like to discuss, but I still try to put everything together. So, thank you again for watching, everybody. I really do appreciate it. And if any of you have made it all the way this far to the end of the video, go ahead and comment Zashu in the comment section. SSHU. And I'll know that you watched all the way to the end because I want to see y'all who committed. I want to see the legends who went all the way. But I just want to tell you guys that wherever you are, if it's morning, day, evening, or night, please be sure to stay safe out there and take care. I'll see you guys next time for more Fate Zero. And holy motherfucking dick, this was an hour and like 10-minute discussion. I just made a feature-length film.